You're listening to Alori Radio, Ibadan, Nigeria.
Ọba tí àṣejìnà lòdì ìròjé làwọn aláṣejòkòtì tí wọ́n fẹ́ máa jẹ ọba ni wọ́n ṣe gàyà díẹ̀ ná ìlú ló láṣẹ ẹjẹ́ ìlú ó jẹun náà ìdí nìyí tó fi jẹ́ pé ẹ̀tọ́ ìlú là ń fowó ìlú ṣe nípìnlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ẹ̀rí bí ní ètò ẹ̀kọ́ wa ṣe ń jògèrè LAUTECH ti di tìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ilé ìwòsàn alábọ́dé bíi 40 ló ti wẹ̀wọ̀ ọ̀tún pẹ̀lú àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ tòun àti irinṣẹ́ tó pójú owó iṣẹ́ sì ti fẹ́ẹ̀ parí pẹ̀lú lórí 100 ní ìdákẹ́jádò ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ààbò tó dájú ohun amáyédẹrùn ní ìṣokùnfà ìdásílẹ̀ iléeṣẹ́ ńláńlá láwùjọ òun náà nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ fi wà nípò kẹta nínú àwọn ìpínlẹ̀ tí ń pawó wọlé jùlọ lábẹ́lé nílẹ̀ wa ọ̀pọ̀ ọ̀dọ́ ló ti láǹfààní ẹ̀kọ́ṣẹ́ iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ lọ́nà ti gbàlódé táṣeyọrí yóò sì jẹ́ kó ń jẹ́ sùn wá bọ̀ láìpẹ́ nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ àtòṣìṣẹ́ fẹ̀yìntì ń gbowó wọn lásìkò pápá àṣírí Adámàsìngbà àtàwọn inú ojú pópó tí ń sòrú dọ̀sán ńkọ́ àwọn ìlú ti sọ pásì ìwádùn níṣèjọba yìí fi ń mọrírì gbogbo àwọn aláṣẹ gómìnà Ṣèyí Mákindé ló ń sọ fún wa pé pẹ̀lú ìṣọ̀kan wa oòrùn tó kù lókè yìí ó táṣọ ọgbẹ.
iléeṣẹ́ ètò ìròyìn àṣà ohun ìrìn àjò afẹ́ tìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ló ń kéde.
Yeah, good morning. You're welcome to a fresh edition of today's newspaper review on your darling station, GSM studio at the Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism. I'm Temitope Ojawo. I have Nigerian Tribune newspaper with me this morning with quick information. You can log on to Facebook page on www.facebook.com Alori Radio. We're also on YouTube, aloriradio.com, also on website, www.aloriradio.com. Also, we're mobile app available on Play Store. We'll first go through the headline while we come back for the details of the news for this morning. The leading story this morning is poor Nigerians to get 5,000 per month after first subsidy removal, says federal government. I also have at the front page of Nigerian Tribune, Lai Mohammed received knock for insisting Lekki massacre is fake news. Also, we have Niger government cries out over presence of ISWAP, Boko Haram in the state. Also at the front page of Nigerian Tribune, OAU student murder Adedoyin leaked video message recorded before arrest, the police. EFCC quizzes Fanika Ode over alleged fraud, grants him bail. At the front page of today's edition of Nigerian Tribune is also another headline that says Nigeria's leadership dodged by abdication of Vaivalu or Shibajo. We also have petrol may sell at 340 naira per litres in year 2020 by NNPC. Badly brutalized Nigeria need rescue building. Ayu, and also we have Igboho. DSS asked court to stay execution of judgment, says extradition procedure ongoing, with a rider that says has court to granting motion for garnishing needed against a CBN. With this and other headlines, we shall be giving you the details of today's newspaper review on Alori Radio, transmitted from the GSM studio at the Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism. Please stay tuned when we come back. Thank you for stay tuned.
àṣà ò gbọ́dọ̀ wọlé gbẹ́yẹlé àṣà ò gbọ́dọ̀. ẹ lẹ́ bàbá àdìo ẹ wo aṣọ ọ̀gbẹ́yẹlé nìkan mọ́ nísìn ẹlẹ́yẹlé gan-an làṣà ń gbé ọ̀rọ̀ ojú òní ìmọ̀ wa rí yín fún. ṣé ẹ rí nígbà tí ìjọba kọ̀ tí wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀ làwọn ọ̀dọ́ ti ṣaṣara bàgbó pé kí gbogbo àwọn oníṣẹ́ bí ó kù lágbègbè wa ni wọ́n bá níjọba sọ pé kámórí wá ká fọrùn lẹ̀.
tá ń sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ àdìo ìwọ náà sì tún pẹ̀lú ọ̀bọ jáwúra ní bí wọ́n mọ̀ pé nǹkan tíjọba àpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ń sọ ni pé a lè fi nǹkan tó kù díẹ̀ káàtó ṣàtúnṣe nǹkan tí ò dáa ó dáa àdìo láti gbẹ̀ tí wàá déhùn ṣé eégún kan ti wá yọrẹ sí babaláwo yín bí.
rárá o bàbá.
ní nǹkan tó jẹ́ pé kẹ́yìn ọ̀dọ́ tó fọn níjọba ti yàwó tùlù fún ẹ̀ṣọ́ aláàbò Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn pé kí wọ́n fi tọ̀gbẹ́ tààlà láti lé gbogbo àwọn ẹni ibi jáde ní kọ̀lọ̀fín wọn bẹ́ẹ̀ ló ṣètò ọlọ́pàá scotland ibi fáàbò gbogbo wa nípìnlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ náà ni ṣèjọba tó wáá ṣe yùn ní òwà rẹ̀ nìràn lẹ́rù yóò tún mọ́ ọkọ̀ fẹ́ bí.
ọ̀rọ̀ yín yé mi bàbá àmọ́ ọ̀tọ̀ ní táwọn èèyàn mọ̀ wíìkì.
àwọn ará abí ti tòṣèlú bọ̀ ọ́nù nígbà àtàkùté wọn mẹ́tẹ̀ẹ̀ta òré òrí wọn lórí ẹ̀rọ ayélujára táwọn ti ròyìn òfegè ní ibi láti sọ̀jọba gómìnà Ṣèyí Mákindé ní súná bú ni.
bàbá kí làá wàá ṣe ṣé ẹ mọ̀ pọ́nrọ̀ sọkúsọ bíi náà nú ẹ̀rùn ni.
ẹ̀yin ọ̀dọ́ tẹ́ ẹ nífẹ̀ẹ́ ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ dénú náà ni kẹ́ ẹ sọ fún gbogbo òlù pé orí ìpinnu àṣà ò gbọ́dọ̀ wọlé gbẹ́yẹlé ní ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ dúró lé.
ó ti yé mi bàbá mo sì ń lọ rìn fọrẹ́rẹ́ rẹ̀ náà nù. iléeṣẹ́ ètò ìròyìn àṣà ohun ìrìn àjò afẹ́ tìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ló ń kéde.
You're welcome back and thanks for staying tuned. The latest story shall be found on the page 2 of today's edition of Nigerian Tribune, with a headline that raised Nigerian leadership judged by abdication of value or Shibajo, with a rider taxing Yoruba to formalize teaching of Omoluabi ethos in school. Yoruba cherishes integrity, respect, civility, probity, and laughing. First President Yemi Osinbajo has tasked the Yoruba on propagation of its cultural and Omoluabi ethos to redress the abdication of values, especially by leadership of the nation. Made this call on the occasion of the launch of the International Center for Yoruba Art and Culture at the University of Ibadan on Thursday. Osinbajo said the nation and the world at large had a lot to learn from the manner Yoruba manage within their family to accommodate diverse faiths and beliefs, as well as the typical Omoluabi ethos of trustworthiness, reliability, honesty, and forthrightness. Among others, there is stress that the true moral conscience of the Yoruba race preaches quality of all men, regardless of race or belief, that all deserves to be treated with dignity and fairness. He especially tasked Yoruba scholars to formalize the concept of Omoluabi for teaching in schools, so as to have next generation in Nigerians who believe that the Commonwealth is not to be stolen or personalized, but for the good of all. He prayed that the Yoruba World Center to be established serve as a sanctuary to reflect on how Yoruba culture can contribute to national build. Nigeria's leadership judged by abdication of value or Shibajo. Get the rest of that story on page 2 of today's edition of Nigerian Tribune. Still on the same page, reports to us, police tell NSAS witness who was attacked in Lagos. The police in Lagos State have urged any witness during the just concluded sitting of the Judicial Panel of Inquiry on restitution for victims of SARS-related abuses and other matters who might have been attacked by anybody to report such incidents. The statement was response to a claim by one of the witnesses that he was physically attacked for testifying at the panel. In the statement signed by its spokesperson Adekunle Ajisebutu, the command said it is statutory duty to protect lives and properties, apprehend and prosecute offenders, among others. The police said in a quote, "The police will not abdicate these important duties even in the face of daunting challenges. Therefore, the Commissioner of Police, Akeem Odumoso, wishes to encourage anyone who has been physically attacked for whatever reason in any part of the state to lodge a formal complaint at the nearest police station where the incident allegedly took place. This is to enable the police take appropriate action by diligently investigating and prosecuting the case." Report to us, police answers the witness who was attacked in Lagos. Page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune. And on page 5 of Nigerian Tribune, federal government to replace fuel subsidy with 5,000 naira monthly grant for 40 million Nigerians with a rider may spend 2.4 trillion naira in 1 year. The federal government is contemplating the replacement of fuel subsidy with a monthly 5,000 fuel grant to the nation's most vulnerable citizens. The gesture will span between 6 months and 1 year, even as the government contemplates ending fuel subsidy in May 2022. According to the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, who disclosed this at the launch of the World Bank and Nigeria Development Update in Abuja on Tuesday, between 13 and 40 million poor Nigerians will benefit from the intervention. The minister said the final number of beneficiaries will depend on the resources available after the removal of the fuel subsidy. This meant the government will spend between 1.8 trillion naira and 2.4 trillion naira on fuel grants in 1 year. Can get the rest of that story on page 5 of Nigerian Tribune. Federal government to replace fuel subsidy with 5,000 naira monthly grant for 40 million Nigerians. Still on the same page, World Bank to federal government, remove subsidy, reduce CBN debt, increase tax on alcohol to save economy, which a rather story that says raises growth forecast for 2021 and 2022. The World Bank has called on the federal government to remove soil subsidy, reduce the indebtedness to the Central Bank of Nigeria, and increase tax on items as a way of shoring up the fortune of the economy. The bank also raised the 2021-2022 economic growth forecast for Nigeria to 2.7% and 2.8% respectively from the 1.8% and 2.1% growth projection made in June. These are contained in the November 2021 Nigeria Development Update (NDU) released by the bank in Abuja on Tuesday. According to the World Bank, the poor for whom the subsidy was instituted do not benefit from it, so the government needs to dump it. The World Bank report stated, and I quote, that Nigeria is the only country in the world with a universal price subsidy that applies exclusively to PMS. Universal price subsidies for liquid fuel are almost always regressive, as the rich consume far more fuel than the poor. Get the rest of that story on page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune. World Bank to federal government: remove subsidy, reduce CBN debt, increase tax on alcohol to save economy, raises growth forecast. Now let's move to page 6 of the same newspaper for today. Without subsidy removal, 35 states may be unable to pay salaries in 2022. El-Rufai, the governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasiru El-Rufai, is the one that without petroleum subsidy removal, 35 out of 36 states of the Federation may not be able to pay salary in year 2020. According to the news agency of Nigeria, El-Rufai said this on Tuesday in Abuja at the presentation of the World Bank Nigeria Development Update November 2021 edition titled Time for Business Unusual. El-Rufai, a panelist who jointly virtually said that its regime of first subsidy was not eliminated. 35 out of 36 states of the Federation may not be able to pay salary in year 2022. Get the rest of the story on page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune. Still at the same page and still on the petrol issue. Nigerians may buy PMS at 340 in year 2022, says NNPC. The Nigerian Petroleum Company, NNPC, on Tuesday hinted that the liter of petroleum motor spirit PMS may sell between 320 and 340 in year 2022. It said this was because the law does not provide for a subsidy, hence its removal in the coming year. The company group managing director Malamele Yari made the disclosure during his presentation at the World Bank Nigerian Development Update November 2021 edition titled The Time for Business Unusual in Abuja. Still on page 6 of Nigerian Tribune. Price high, cooking gas not subsidized. Kayare. Following a steady increase in the price of liquefied petroleum gas (LPG), alternatively known as cooking gas, the group managing director GMD Melei Kai on Tuesday said the product was not under any subsidy regime. He said the factor has led to a hike in price was demand by supply issues. Also on the same page, you can get all those stories on page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune. Now on page 8 of Nigerian Tribune, Lai Muhammad Adamant says Lekki massacre fake news. Minister of Information and Culture Lai Muhammad has dismissed as fake news the report of the Lagos State panel that investigated the alleged massacre of peaceful protesters at the Lekki Togo during the NSAS agitation. The judicial panel of inquiry set up to investigate the case of police brutality during the October 2020 incident recently submitted its report to the state governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, which was also laid to the media. Addressing a press conference in Abuja on Tuesday, the minister said the report is rehearsed of the already circulated fake news. He therefore challenged families of those allegedly killed during the incident to speak out. Mohammed maintained that instead of sitting for 1 year, the panel should have just compared social media reports and wound up. The information minister alleged that the report is a riddle with discrepancies in readers, inconsistencies, and error. He wondered what the panel meant by its conclusion of the context, declaring that it can only be a pattern massacre. Like Muhammad Adaman says Lekki massacre fake news. Get the rest of the story on page 8 of Nigerian Tribune. Very, very interesting. On to page 21 of the same newspaper. Badly brutalized Nigerian means rescuing, rebuilding. How are you? With a rider, PDPs will take responsibility where APC tribes and executors Tambua. The People Democratic Party PDP on Tuesday began a 2-day retreat for nearly elected member of its National Working Committee, NWC, with the national chairman-elect, Professor Ajosewa Ni, asserted that Nigeria needs to be rescued and rebuilt now from the maladministration of the ruling party. In his welcome address to participants at party chieftain in Abuja, Alu said the main opposition party must set a clear roadmap on how best to help tackle the problem of the people and country. According to him, Nigeria has become a country badly brutalized, robbed and traumatized in the past 60 years plus. He said, and I quote, "Our country is in a very deep trouble. So we have a duty. Nigerians expect us to rescue and rebuild the country," end of quote. He said, explaining the essence of the retreat theme, Rescue and Rebuild Nigeria, the incoming PDP boss said it is to commit party leaders to the sacrifice they need to make to rescue and rebuild the country. Badly brutalized Nigeria need rescue, rebuild. IU, still on page 21 of the Nigerian Tribune. We have power to investigate, arrest, prosecute, police tell NHRC panel. The police on Tuesday told the National Human Rights Commission independent investigative panel on violation of rights by the default Special Anti-Robbery Squad SARS and other police units that the Police Act gave them power to investigate, arrest and prosecute any person allegedly involved in criminal breach of trust and cheating. Counsel to the police, Fidelis Ogobe, stated this at the adoption of written addresses in the petition brought before the panel by Nicholas Egbedo Azuka, March 2020/IIP/SARS/Abuja ABJ/102, in which the petitioner alleged abuse of office and arbitrary arrest. Get the rest of that story on page 21 of Nigerian Tribune. On page 25 of Nigerian Tribune today's edition, Niger government cry out over presence of ISWAP Boko Haram groups in the state. Niger state government has cried out over the presence of members of the Islamic State of West Africa, ISWAP, and the Boko Haram group in Bogu and Shiroro local government area of the state. The secretary to the Niger state government, Alhaji Ahmed Ibrahim, maintained, said this on Tuesday during a press briefing with the newsman in his office at the government house, Mina, in the state capital. He said that ISWAP members have already established their presence in Babana, a border town between Niger and the Republic of Benin, Bogu local government area of the state, stressing that the Boko Haram members were also operating in some communities in Shiroro local government area of the state. Matane Ehu reaffirmed a statement accredited to the state government, Alhaji Abubakar Sani Bello, earlier in the year at the public gathering in the state about the presence of some Boko Haram members in Shiroro local government area of the state, informed the newsman at a media parley in his office. Niger government cried out over presence of ISWAP Boko Haram groups in the state. Get the rest of that story on page 25 of Nigerian Tribune. On page 27 of Nigerian Tribune, abductor fed us with Iraq cassava and missed for 2 weeks. Victims speak on ordeal. 200 students of the Federal University of Southern Oyo State, who simply gave his name as Bolu, has narrated his off in the hand of the abductors after spending 2 weeks in captivity with his brother. Bolu and his brother were abducted in Akure, the Ondo state capital, just as he added that the kidnappers took them to Ekiti state before moving them to Kogi, Kwara state, before they regained their freedom after payment of ransom. He said the kidnappers, who were dressed in army uniform, also had a patrol van parked by the roadside, making it impossible to suspect that they were criminals. He disclosed that 6 persons, including a newly married couple, were abducted in the commercial vehicle. He said in a call 2 weeks ago, we were returning from Lagos State, and as we got to Akure, we ran into a checkpoint mounted by soldiers. They checked our vehicle and asked us to stay put. After some minutes, they said we should follow them to the barracks. They also took other people in 6 vehicles. Our abductor fed us with Iraq, cassava and maize for 2 weeks. Victims speak on audio, page 27 of Nigerian Tribune. And on page 28 of Nigerian Tribune again, I have a leading story that says all AU students' mothers added doing leaked video message recorded before arrest police. Osun State Police Command on Tuesday affirmed that Rahman Adedoyin, owner of Hilton Hotel Ile-Ife, well, a master student of the Obafemi Awolowo University Ile-Ife, Timothy Adegoke, lodged before being found dead, had admitted to being the author of an audio message recorded before his arrest to defend himself against being labeled a ritualist. The Police Public Relations Officer PPRO in the state, Yemisi Okpalola, in a statement in Osogbo on Tuesday said, on the issue of the audio recording made by Dr. Rahman Adedoyin, the police was embarrassed with this development. On investigation, Dr. Adedoyin admitted being the author of the audio message. He said that he felt inclined to make it when some members of his staff were arrested by the police. He felt making it before he was arrested to defend himself when some people, especially the brother to the deceased, was referring to him as a ritualist. He said it was made to clear himself as they had already maligned his character when without due process of law. Get the rest of the story on page 28 of Nigerian Tribune. I'm on page 29 of the same newspaper, Nigerian Tribune, today's edition. Igboho DSS asked court to stay execution of judgment, says extradition procedure ongoing. With a brighter story, as court grants Igboho's motion for garnishing Nizel against CBN. The Director of State Security, DSS, has asked the Oyo State High Court, sitting in Ibadan, to give an order staying the execution of its judgment given on September 17, 2021 in the case of Chief Sunday Adeyemo, popularly known as Sunday Igboho, against Attorney General of the Federation and 2 others on various grounds, including the fact Igboho, who is in custody of Benin security agent, is undergoing extradition procedure back to Nigeria. The DSS had further asked in the alternative for an order of injunction restraining Igboho from further giving effect to reliefs 8, 9, and 11 and 15 of the judicial said judgment. The DSS motion on notice was supported by a 16-paragraph affidavit deposed by Johnson Oluwole as operatives in the Operation Department of State Security Services, Aleshiloya Ibadan, where it was affirmed that the respondent had lodged an appeal at the Court of Appeal Ibadan Division against judgment of the court and attached the notice to Apex as exhibit. Get the rest of that story on page 29. Still on page 29, Rep pass bill abolishing BSc HND dichotomy. The House of Representatives has passed the bill abolishing dichotomy between first-degree holder and higher national diploma HND holders in the same field for the purpose of employment. The bill passed its final stage at the Green Chamber on Tuesday in Abuja, when members voted at the committee of the whole presided over by the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Ahmed Wazir. The passage followed a unanimous adoption of a report of the House Committee on Tertiary Education at 10th after conducting hearing on the bill. The bill, which was sponsored by a lawmaker at the 8th Assembly, Edward Pakoja, passed the second reading in 2017. While presenting the bill for second reading, Pajok said research conducted on both certificates indicated that those with first degree were placed on grade level 8, while those with HND in the same field were placed on grade level 6 or grade level 7. That's the rest of that story on page 29. Rep pass bill abolishing BSc HND dichotomy. On the sport page, I have a story that says Awoni several Bundesliga goal record with Union Berlin. Nigerian international Taiwo Awoniyi has expressed delight at becoming Union Berlin's highest goal scorer in Bundesliga history with 13 goals, but added that team success remained his target. The previous record was held by Germany international Max Kruse, who had led 12 goals in 31 matches, including 11 strikes during 2020-2021 session. Awoniyi took the honor outright when he capitalized on a defensive blunder to slot home the opening goal in Junior Berlin 2-0 with over city rivals at Berlin last Sunday. You can get that story on page 31 of Nigeria Tribune. And with this, we close today's edition of the newspaper review at the GSM studio on Alore News. Till tomorrow when you join our colleagues, a quick reminder to you that you can log on to Facebook with www.facebook.com/alore-radio. Also, we're on YouTube at Alore Radio. Our website still remain www.aloreradio.com, while our mobile apps available on Play Store. Can also reach us on mobile line on 09039-853731. Till tomorrow when you shall meet another set of your hosts, I am Temitope Ojawo. I say thanks for listening to us. Stay blessed. Thank you.
ọgbà tí àṣejìnà lòdì ìròjé làwọn aláṣejòkó tí wọ́n fẹ́ máa jẹ ọba ni wọ́n ṣe gàyà díẹ̀ ná ìlú ló láṣẹ ẹjẹ́ ìlú ó jẹun náà ìdí nìyí tó fi jẹ́ pé ẹ̀tọ́ ìlú là ń fowó ìlú ṣe nípìnlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ẹ̀rí bí ní ètò ẹ̀kọ́ wa ṣe ń jògeere LAUTECH ti di tìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ilé ìwòsàn alábọ́dé bíi 40 ló ti wẹ̀wọ̀ ọ̀tún pẹ̀lú àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ tòun àti irinṣẹ́ tó kójú owó iṣẹ́ sì ti fẹ́ parí pẹ̀lú lórí 100 ní ìdákẹ́jádò ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ààbò tó dájú òun ohun amáyédẹrùn ní ìṣokùnfà ìdásílẹ̀ iléeṣẹ́ ńlá láwùjọ òun náà nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ fi wà nípò kẹta nínú àwọn ìpínlẹ̀ tí ń pawó wọlé jùlọ lábẹ́lé nílẹ̀ wa ọ̀pọ̀ ọ̀dọ́ ló ti láǹfààní ẹ̀kọ́ṣẹ́ iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ lọ́nà ti gbàlódé táṣeyọrí yóò sì jẹ́ kó ń jẹ́ sùn wàbọ̀ láìpẹ́ nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ àtòṣìṣẹ́ fẹ̀yìntì ń gbowó wọn lásìkò pápá àṣírí Adámàsìngbà àtàwọn inú ojú pópó tí ń sòrú dọ̀sán ńkọ́ àwọn ìlú ti sọ pásì ìwádùn níṣèjọba yìí fi ń mọrírì gbogbo àwọn aláṣẹ gómìnà Ṣèyí Mákindé ló ń sọ fún wa pé pẹ̀lú ìṣọ̀kan wa oòrùn tó kù lókè yìí ó táṣọ ọgbẹ.
iléeṣẹ́ ètò ìròyìn àṣà ohun ìrìn àjò afẹ́ tìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ló ń kéde. àṣà ò gbọ́dọ̀ wọlé gbẹ́yẹlé àṣà ò gbọ́dọ̀. ẹ lẹ́ bàbá àdìo ẹ wo aṣọ ọ̀gbẹ́yẹlé nìkan mọ́ nísìn ẹlẹ́yẹlé gan-an làṣà ń gbé ọ̀rọ̀ ojú òní ìmọ̀ wa rí yín fún. ṣé ẹ rí nígbà tí ìjọba kọ̀ tí ó sọ̀rọ̀ làwọn ọ̀dọ́ ti ṣaṣara bàgbó pé kí gbogbo àwọn oníṣẹ́ bí ó kù lágbègbè wa ni wọ́n bá níjọba sọ pé kámórí wá ká fọrùn lẹ̀.
tá ń sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ àdìo ìwọ náà sì tún pẹ̀lú ọ̀bọ jáwúra ní bí wọ́n mọ̀ pé nǹkan tíjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ń sọ ni pé a lè fi nǹkan tó kù díẹ̀ káàtó ṣàtúnṣe nǹkan tí ò dáa ó dáa àdìo láti gbẹ̀ tí wàá déhùn ṣé eégún kan ti wá yọrẹ sí babaláwo yín bí.
rárá o bàbá.
ní nǹkan tó jẹ́ pé kẹ́yìn ọ̀dọ́ tó fọn níjọba ti yàwó tùlù fún ẹ̀ṣọ́ aláàbò àmọ̀tẹ́kùn pé kí wọ́n fi tọ̀gbẹ́ tààlà láti lé gbogbo àwọn ẹni ibi jáde ní kọ̀lọ̀fín wọn bẹ́ẹ̀ ló ṣètò ọlọ́pàá scrodom ibi fáàbò gbogbo wa nípìnlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ náà ni ṣèjọba tó wáá ṣe yùn ní ìwà rẹ̀ nìràn lẹ́rù yóò tún mọ́ ọkọ̀ fẹ́ bí.
ọ̀rọ̀ yíyé mi bàbá àmọ́ ọ̀tọ̀ ní táwọn èèyàn mọ̀ wíìkì.
àwọn ará bíi ti tòṣèlú bọ̀ ọ́nù nígbà àtàkùté wọn mẹ́tẹ̀ẹ̀ta òde ó rí wọn lórí ẹ̀rọ ayélujára táwọn ti ròyìn òfegè ní ibi láti sọ̀jọba gómìnà Ṣèyí Mákindé ní súná bú ni.
bàbá kí làá wàá ṣe ṣé ẹ mọ̀ pọ́nrọ̀ sọkúsọ bíi náà nú ẹ̀rùn ni.
ẹ̀yin ọ̀dọ́ tẹ́ ẹ nífẹ̀ẹ́ ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ dénú náà ni kẹ́ ẹ sọ fún gbogbo òlù pé orí ìpinnu àṣà ò gbọ́dọ̀ wọlé gbẹ́yẹlé níjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ dúró lé.
ó ti yé mi bàbá mo sì ń lọ rèé fọrẹ́rẹ́ rẹ̀ náà nù. iléeṣẹ́ ètò ìròyìn àṣà ohun ìrìn àjò afẹ́ tìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ló ń kéde.
You are listening to Alore Radio, Ibadan, Nigeria.